Hi there, my name's Stuart. I'll tell you a wee story. I went to boarding school in the south of England, in Surrey, and I was lucky because it was the 1950s, and discipline generally was a bit stricter maybe than it is these days, but it was very liberal, this school. It was co-ed, boys and girls. Anyway, fast forward about 40 years, and I go to one of these dreaded reunions, and a couple of funny incidents. A guy came up to me, because we all had name tabs, and there we are, and he said, "Oh, you're McIver." Sorry, we had the surname. We only called each other by our surnames. He said, "I remember you. You fainted in chapel." Well, we used to go to chapel twice on Sundays, and I'd noticed that quite often, I'm sorry girls, but the girls quite often seem to faint because of the warmth, the heat in the chapel after a while. And what happened was that the chums sitting either side of them in the pew would drag them out into the open air. A teacher would follow them and check them. What I noticed was that they never came back in again. So I said to my two chums, "Hey, the girls, they're onto something. I could faint, I could go down, and you two drag me out, and that's us, we're out of chapel. Obviously we've got to do it early in the service, no point doing it towards the end." So, yeah, they went with it. So the Sunday came, and sure enough, after about 5-10 minutes, down I went with a big thump. They dragged me out, and the teacher followed us, and he said, "Loosen his tie, see he's all right, and just walk him around. Don't bring him back in." So back to it worked a treat, kept it secret as to what actually happened. So back to the reunion, and this guy says, "Yeah, McIver, you fainted in chapel." I said, "Well, I didn't actually. I was faking it." "What do you mean, faking it?" I said, "Well, realized that the girls used to get out of it by genuine fainting, so I had a fake faint and got out of it." And he said, "I'm appalled. Your eyes rolled back in your head." I said, "Well, if you do remember as well, I was in the drama class." And he just shook his head, I'm appalled, and wandered off. And then, 2 or 3 minutes later, mind you, I thought, yeah, that's what he remembers me for. Mind you, I couldn't remember anything about what he ever did. So a few minutes later, this lady, she'd had a few glasses of wine and her husband was with her. She came up to me and she sort of jabbed me in the chest. She said, "You rejected my advances." And of course, I saw her name and realized who she was. She'd been the head girl, for God's sake. And I said, "Did you? I never knew. But you were the head girl." The idea that the head girl would have any interest in a lowly fifth former like me was just beyond comprehension. I said, "I'm terribly sorry." I found myself apologizing. My husband was standing behind her just laughing. Yes, and she was really indignant. She'd lived with that for over 40 years. Well, that was that reunion. Thanks.